Here we are at the end of this study. If you want to call it a study, I call it just a fresh look at the book of Revelation. And so I have some final thoughts. The first one is heaven is nearer than you think, right? But what does it look like when the veil lifts? I mean, John the Apostle, he was exiled to a rocky island called Patmos when he heard a voice behind him, a voice like a trumpet. He turned and the sky just literally broke open and he saw him. He saw the Son of Man. He saw the one that he had walked the shores of Galilee with, the one that he cried at the tomb, the one that shook the earth with his very words and changed the course of history. And later on in the book of Revelation, he says, and I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem. It was coming down out of heaven from God. The city of God doesn't drift around in the mist. It descends. It's got weight. It's physical. It's real. It's got a foundation. It's moving down in a direction. The throne of the universe isn't stashed behind a cloud somewhere or flung way out across the galaxy. It's arriving. It's here. It's on the way now. And part of it lives in our hearts. But how can I say that it's on the way now? Because just like the theme runs through the Bible, God is eternal. He's not bound by time. The New Jerusalem has been coming since the past. It's coming right now. And it will come on the appointed day. Heaven doesn't take us out of earth. It remakes the earth back into the garden, and God dwells with man. That's the miracle that John saw. Two worlds where physical and one spiritual are merging together in the city where death has no key, the city without night. We sometimes think of heaven as far away. We imagine it tucked in somewhere behind the solar winds, out past the edge of the knowable, where no telescope can see it. But think of Jacob. He had nothing but a rock for a pillow. Then he opened his eyes the next morning after wrestling with God, and he trembled because in his dream he had seen a ladder stretch from the very patch of wilderness where he was laying up to the throne of God, and angels were ascending and descending. The ground hadn't shifted, nothing had changed, but something was different. And he said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I just didn't know it. Heaven's not measured in miles away. It's the world right next to this one. It's not separated by space or time or anything, but it's only separated by a veil, the blindness of our human eyes. Stephen, while he was being stoned, looked up and saw Jesus standing, not floating around, not imagined, not a vision. He saw Jesus standing there, and he said so aloud before the last stone that ended his earthly life. The dimension that holds glory is not out there. It's here, folded up into the one that we know and hidden only from unseeing eyes. The problem isn't that heaven is far away. The problem is that our sin makes us forget how near it is. Scripture says we live and move and have our being in God. Every breath, that one right there, it happens in the presence of eternity. But we treat life like it's made out of stone, and heaven like it's made out of air. It should be the other way around. We chase after promotions. We defend our image and our ego. We keep our heads down while sitting in the cubicle, and then we die. And sometimes we meet the Lord by surprise. Jesus said, you must be born again. Not a new improved version of you, a reborn version. The gates of the New Jerusalem, they're wide, but they don't get unlocked by your good intentions. This is a city that's entered into through blood, Christ's blood, shed for the guilty. You don't just drift into heaven, you're drawn into heaven. You're raised from death to life and you're made new. And there's only two kinds of people in the end: those whose names are written in the book of life and those who stand just outside the gates with nothing but their good intentions. The book of Revelation is clear. The wrath of God comes down from heaven against all unrighteousness. That judgment isn't future. It leaks here now into the present. People's minds darken and their desires twist, and people start calling bitter things sweet and holy things oppressive. They call evil good and good evil. And they do all of that in the name of progress. But that's just the evidence that heaven has already spoken, and the sentence is echoing through their lives. When the city comes down, there'll be no more sea. The restless abyss that we know, it'll be gone. No more graves with fresh dirt. No more morphine drips or calls for a biopsy. No more fathers burying their sons or wives crying away in hospital rooms. God will wipe away every tear. The Lamb will be the light. The gates will stay open because there's nothing left to fear. It's not myth. It's the end of history and the start of joy. I can't tell you what people who make deathbed confessions see in their final moments, but I can tell you what they realize when they step across the great divide between this world and the next. They'll tell you that the throne is closer than you think. You might scroll past this today, eat dinner, get on with your evening, and forget all about it, but the veil is still there. The Bible ends like this: they will see his face, not feel his presence. They will see his face, not imagine it. They will behold it, the face of Christ, the same one who wept at Lazarus' tomb, the same one who died with spit and blood on his beard and blood dripping down his forehead from a crown of thorns. But that's not how you'll see him. You'll see him in all of his glory. And you get to make the choice now. Now is the time to make the choice. You get to make the choice. Do I want to stay with him? That choice is made now. If you're not ready for that, don't wait for cancer to make it urgent. Don't wait for your breath to shorten or your hands to cool. Call on Christ now, because Heaven is near, and He is nearer still.